a lot more goes into changing your body than just changing your body. Because, and I don't know if this will make any sense to anyone, I don't feel like a person. It's me again.
Thank goodness you're here.
Still going. Now, normally I would throw a bandana over this, but I'm not going anywhere. I am once again coming to you. So here's the thing. Something I don't really talk about, or I haven't really talked about yet here, is the body image portion of this lifestyle change, right? So I've talked about times I've gone to the gym. I talk about me using my walking pad behind me. On other apps, I've posted myself having a grand old time on the walking pad. But generally speaking, I haven't taken the time here to really talk about what is going on. So first and foremost, I'm a thickie. She's a big girl. Basically, this was years ago. A lot of what you're seeing me go through and do now happened over time. None of this was quick. But I eventually hit a point where I recognized that the way that I had been functioning for all of my young adult, well, for all of my teenage, young adult, and adult life, most of anyway, was too much, not good for me, and I was driving myself into a hole. I was contributing to a burnout, which, though other things contributed to this burnout, the way that I was treating my body had that shit on 1,000. So in more recent years, I decided I was going to try to take a calmer, more understanding approach to changing my body, right? So after I had a huge breakdown and I stopped doing whatever, because there was a point in time where I was still doing my regular exercise routine and I was still taking care of my diet in the way that I had been previously, which again was not the best way, but and I just kept gaining weight. No matter what I did, I kept gaining weight. And then at one point I couldn't work out anymore. Like, I was working out, but I would get winded within the first few minutes, and that doesn't make any sense because I'm a cardio girly. It takes a lot to make me get winded, or at least it did at the time, right? So I was like, something's wrong. I thought I was dying. Went to the doctor. Doctor was like, well, hey, fatty, you're fat. So like, be less fat. You want like anti-eating pills? And I'm like, no, something's wrong. He didn't take me seriously, so it didn't go anywhere. And then I just kept existing. I had to stop using the scale because I was obsessively using the scale, and watching the numbers go up when you are still doing what has been working for you for all of these years will drive you crazy. Crazier, really. So I had to stop. I stopped using the scale. I was like, we have to keep our sanity. We have to keep our sanity. I stopped doing most of what was going on. I was just like, you know what? I'm obviously stressing myself out. I can't. And so I just decided to exist for a while. I didn't pay attention to anything, left it alone. Numbers kept climbing because nothing I did was helping. And we ended up at a point where I had gained a ridiculous amount of weight in a very small amount of time. And nobody wanted to help me because they were like, well, you're fat. And it's like, yes, but I'm fatter. Why am I fatter? And it doesn't matter because we all have our stories. And that's okay. But all of that happened. Fast forward to, I don't know, 5 years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, where I was like, you know what? I want to get back into it, but I don't want to aggravate myself. I don't want to contribute to the stress anymore. I want to take care of myself. And this is where we are. This is what we're starting with. Where did I leave y'all off? Because I stopped at yesterday. Anyway, I said this is where we're starting. Okay, I actually still have a ton of little videos because when this was really starting to fully take form and shape my understanding of what I needed for myself and how I ended up where I was, I was actually just like posting more online about this process because for a while my Instagram was about my body image and things like that. So I do have these videos. I will be looking through them again and really thinking about and dissecting them so that I can better understand the process of how I got here. But basically what happened was I recognized that I had absorbed and continued to utilize essentially a pattern of abuse to try to make myself into whatever the preferred version of myself was that I was looking for. And I recognized that I was ultimately, in the long run, doing more harm than good. Now, yes, there was a period of time where my body was where I wanted it to be, or at least close to where I wanted it to be, but that it wasn't sustainable. And because it wasn't sustainable, when everything started to go awry, I couldn't keep up what I had been doing to keep it at that place, at that position. Now, mind you, what I had been doing was hours upon hours a day of exercise and very little caloric intake. And that's not great, right? So, of course, that's not sustainable. I couldn't maintain that. And after all of this period of really looking back on my life and dissecting the emotional effect I was having on myself, I was causing a lot of harm, a lot of damage. I recognized that though I was looking to make changes to myself physically, I was not accounting for any of the mental or emotional harm that had led me to the position that I was in. And because of that physical and emotional harm that I had dealt with, I had only known how to hurt myself to get a result. And I think that happens to a lot of people. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with if that's something you do. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you if that's what happened. I think socially, the way that we run things, that makes a lot of sense, frankly. But I came to a point to where I was like, you know what? I don't want to hurt myself anymore. I don't want to cause myself any further harm. I want to give myself grace. I want to give myself patience, and I want to listen to my body. I recognized I didn't have a relationship with my body, good or bad. In all honesty, I didn't have one. And I needed to try to make one. I needed to try to create a relationship with my physical form. And this is a part of that process. I've been making changes now to listen to myself and better understand myself for at least 2 to 3 years at this point where you're seeing me start. So a lot of things that used to be really difficult for me, my body image, looking at myself, I couldn't look at myself, being angry if I didn't finish workouts in the exact way I wanted to, being angry at my chronic pain because I've always had issues in my knees. I had early signs of arthritis in my knees as a young teen, as a preteen, actually. So I would get angry at my body for not being able to do what I wanted it to do in order to lose weight. And that doesn't make any sense because you lose weight for your body's sake, right? Hopefully. Sometimes it's completely social or you just want to look good, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with looking good. But like generally speaking, in the long run, you want to work on your physical form so that you are in a better place. And pushing against my physical needs to look a certain way obviously isn't an intelligent way to go. I may have caused irreparable damage to my joints. I don't know yet. We're figuring that out. Part of this change, part of this process, besides listening to myself and treating myself with kindness and understanding, is actually understanding where I am medically, right? So generally speaking, nothing is wrong with me. But over the years, we have noticed a few chronic illnesses that I'm dealing with that I may have been ignoring all of these years and not catering to, and that also may have made them worse. So one of the things I've been doing is going to my doctor, going to other doctors, making sure I have a clean bill of health, making sure nothing is wrong so that as I continue to move forward and change my body, I do so in my best health. And I find that that's really important. So basically, I say all of this to say, when it comes to changing my physical form, when it comes to losing weight, gaining muscle, having new fitness goals, whatever that may be, for me, I want to do so in the healthiest way possible. And I want to do so in such a way that I only benefit. I don't want to cause any more mental harm. I don't want to cause any more physical harm. I want to do the best for me that I can do all around. One of the things I've been doing is I've been going to a cardiologist because I get palpitations and things like that. And it used to be an issue when I was a teenager, then it stopped and it came back. I think that I may have dysautonomia. My cardiologist did reference it, so we're going to go deeper into that. And there are some other things that we're working on, right? Just to make sure I'm okay while I'm making these changes because we don't want to make it worse. And I don't know. I just wanted to kind of say all of that to say, a lot more goes into changing your body than just changing your body. Not for everyone. For some people, it is just a matter of upping your exercise and monitoring your caloric intake. And that's great. That's beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But for some people, sometimes it involves an overhaul. And that's what I'm doing. I don't think that my weight issue is just my weight. I don't think it's just any physical ailments. I think it is the fact that I have never been able to build a life for myself. And a whole lot more goes into being healthy than just being thinner or smaller and being active. It's socializing. It's participating in your interests. It's growing, changing, learning. And all of these things I never really had the time or the ability to grow into or explore. And that's something I want to change now, which I think I kind of referenced in my first video when I talked about me playing video games and having fun online with people, because these are interests I've had that I've always kind of like thrown to the side. And basically we're at a point where I'm not throwing stuff to the side anymore. I have to teach myself how to socialize again. I have to teach myself how to go outside again. These are things I completely lost. I don't have access to them, and I have to start all over. And it's going to be a process. It's going to take some time. And I don't know, you're more than welcome to follow along with me. Hopefully it's a positive experience for you to see someone who had these experiences, who are making these changes, who does not mind talking about the struggle, who does not mind growing from the struggle, right? Things are not always easy, and that's okay. I think there's a beauty in that because you can learn from it. And this is me learning from it. This is me working forward now. I've gone through a lot. My God, I've gone through a lot. And now is the time for me to take what I've gathered in that time and try to adjust my life so that it's better for me in whatever way that I can. So I say all that to say that I didn't post the vlog, but I'm gonna either tonight or tomorrow. Anyway, this isn't just about losing weight. This isn't just about me playing video games. It's about getting in touch with me, recreating my own life, because currently I don't have one. I just work and I go to sleep, and it's become I work and I play online with some people, and that's actually a huge shift. I've made a great change there. I've noticed in recent months that sometimes I'll just feel the need to go out for a walk, or I'll just want to go work out just for fun. And these are things that I used to do. There was a point in my life where I was really close to attaining this before things went south. And that's what I'm trying to bring back. I want the activities in my life to just come naturally to me. I you know how people just go, oh, I want to do this weekend, and they go and do it. I don't do that. I don't do that. Everything is planned. It's either it's planned or it's not happening. So I don't know if you can keep up with that. I said a lot, but basically I'm building my life. This is me building my life. I just wanted to share these thoughts with you guys because at this point, when you look at my vlogs, although I'm still talking to you, is what you're seeing is my day-to-day, which doesn't involve much. And that ultimately is the issue. I want it to involve more of me. Reading, drawing, playing video games, chatting with people, hanging out with friends. These are things that I want to get back into doing. And I feel like in order to do that properly, I have to adjust my daily life. I have to adjust my health, because a big hindrance in being social is being unhealthy. Dealing with my chronic illness and chronic pains slows me down. Whether or not I want it to, it does. And I feel like to make that easier on myself, it's helpful to know what's going on so that I can take care of my body in the way that it needs to be taken care of. And hopefully that minimizes the fatigue ever so slightly. It doesn't matter. So we're hoping for positive things. I don't feel like I'm struggling. I don't feel like life is unfair. I think we're actually in a good place. I think although I do deal with some struggles, I talk about them with you guys. You can see it in the weeks. You can see when I'm not having a great time. Although that happens, that's natural. That's okay. And I expect it. And I'm okay with that. Things have been so much better for me in recent years, and I want to continue moving forward. I want to continue getting better, getting healthier, feeling like a person again. And I don't know if this will make any sense to anyone. I don't feel like a person. And I believe a lot of that is because I don't do anything. I don't have a life. I haven't been able to create one. I don't have a foundation to stand on. One wasn't given to me. One wasn't expressed to me. One wasn't shown to me when I was growing up. And so I have to create one. And I didn't know that. And now I do. And this is what we're doing. We're creating my foundation for my life so that I can exist and flourish. I want to flourish. I want to flourish. I don't just want to be a 9 to 5 and then sleep and go back to the 9 to 5 and then sleep and go back to the 9 to 5. My life deserves more. I deserve more. And that's what I want to work towards. Okay. I just wanted to say that because I was just thinking that.
I'll take you to the river.
She talking to me.
We got a long journey ahead.
Am I seeing things?
Yes. Ooh, stuff. It's glowing. Get it. One thing. I don't know why. I really hard to try.